Hello everybody, I hope you are well. It's Monday, the middle of the day here in Yerushalayim, a couple of days before Rosh Hashanah, and I really just wanted to speak to you again as much as I can, but I really only have a few minutes here and there. So I want to just speak about one topic now for a few minutes, just having to do with Rosh Hashanah and perspectives based on an email that I received. And the other shir that I'd still like to try to record is I'd very much like to go through some of the Rosh Hashanah tefillos with you and to try to understand some of the themes of the tefillos. The truth is that for those of you who have access to the school's Facebook page, so over there there's an audio link to a shir that I gave, a very informal shir, more of like a shmooze type of a shir that I gave to some men here in Ramot last week going through the tefillos. So anybody who has access to the school's Facebook page, I would encourage you to listen to that. But I'm going to try to do it again over here, in a more organized fashion. I want to just relate to one point that comes up at this time of the year in a lot of people, and that is the idea of guilt, the idea of a person feeling. This is a time of year I'm supposed to be reflecting on my past, on my year and my previous years. I'm supposed to be thinking about what I've done wrong, thinking about how to fix that. And for some people, and sometimes depending on what kind of a mood a person is in and where they're holding in life and many other factors, but what this has the potential to do is to create a very large weight of guilt, a large feeling of look what I've done. Look where I've gotten myself. Look at all the things that the bad decisions that I've made, the choices that I've made, the times that I've allowed my bad midos to ruin relationships, the times that I've allowed my taivas, my desires to obscure my judgment and get in the way of my relationship with Hashem. And a person, if we really look at our faults and especially if we're looking at the underpinning reasons for why we do things, a person can really have a sense of yish, a person can have a sense of despair, and how am I ever going to get out of this? And look where I am, and how did I do this myself? So I want to just address this for a couple of minutes. So first of all, I want to just make it clear out and out that guilt of that nature, guilt of that gets a person down and gets a person to ruminate and think about it. So that has no place in the Torah. That has no place in the Torah. That's not charata that we're talking about. Part of the Teshuva process, we know. There's three, let's say, central elements to Teshuva. There's the charata and the Kabbalah ala asid. Those are the emotional, mental aspects. The charata is the regret for what I've done. Kabbalah ala asid is the accepting on the future that I'm going to make my best effort to not do it again. And then there's the vidui, which is the expression of saying, Hashamnu bagadnu, expressing to Hashem. Okay, so why it's this process? Maybe we'll say for another time. But that's the process of Teshuva. So one could say, well, look, charata means regret. So doesn't regret mean to be mad at myself and upset at myself for what I've done? So I would like to read to you. I'm going to share a concept with you. This is a sefer called Leket Amarim from Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter. Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter is a Rav who's alive today. He lives here in Yerushalayim. It's an old tzaddik, and he's one of the Breslov manhigim of the generation. He's like one of the big Talmidei Chachamim, big teachers among the Breslov Hasidim, and now. So he has a piece about this, and he says something quite fascinating. And the truth of the matter is, I've spoken about this in school in the past. It could be you've heard this from me, before. But he says a very interesting thing. He says a very interesting thing. He says we have a mitzvah of tshuva. A mitzvah. It's a mitzvah in the Torah. It's not just a nice thing Hashem did for us, which it is, but it's a mitzvah. He says, if not for the mitzvah of tshuva, it would be forbidden for a person to think about their past, to dwell on their past, to consider their past at all. Because what's the point? What's the point? What's the point of thinking about the past? Where I am is right now. Right now, where I'm standing is where my avodas Hashem is. He says a very nice way of putting it. He says, Kol HaTorah, the entire Torah, Chukoseha, its laws, mitzvoseha, its commandments, Mishpateha, its judgments, Shenasnu lebnei Adam bali abachira, that is given over to people, bali bachira, people who have free will, Lo midaberes ela al hahove, it speaks only to the present. All the Torah, kol Torah kula, any sefer, all the svarim, everything is talking only to the present, with one exception, which is the concept of tshuva, which we'll get to in a second. But kol Torah kula is only talking about me right now. What am I supposed to do right now? Ki ha'avar ayin, the past already was. V'lo shayich letzavos al kach. What's a mitzvah in the past? There's no such thing, right? It's like, yeah. V'al ha'asid v'aday shelo niton nadon. And what's going to be in the future? Nobody knows. It's impossible to have any connection to the future. Ki adayin einu b'rishus klal shel ba'al b'chira. Yeah. So the only thing that matters is the present. Kol ha'torah kula, Hashem, everything only speaks to the present. But the Baldavar, the Satan, the Yetzer Hara, so he confuses a person and he mixes a person up literally from one extreme to the next. What does he do? He has a person constantly thinking only about the past and the future. He's upset about what happened in the past, and he fears what's going to be in the future. Only the present he steals from him. And this is one of the greatest tools of the Yetzer Hara. Okay, so he's laying here a very, very important yesod for us, which we'll have to develop. But he's saying here an idea. Yeah, that the whole Torah, every mitzvah in the Torah, all commandments, any concept, is only speaking to me in the present, where I am right now. Right? The past and what brought me here is not what the Torah is speaking about. What's going to be in the future, other than the consequences and this types of things, but commandments on the future is also not shaykh. The whole Torah is speaking to me only right now. So I want to just understand this idea a little bit. This really to understand fully. There's a few other shiurim that are up here on this YouTube channel. The basics of Emunah or something along those lines. Where I speak about this idea a lot. But basically, the hashkafa that we developed over there is as follows: that where a person is right now is exactly where Hashem wants that person to be. In other words, it's not possible for a person to be somewhere, and I mean this physically, literally physically to be somewhere, but I also mean it in terms of where they're holding, spiritually, emotionally, what their state of mind is. It's impossible for a person to be somewhere that Hashem doesn't have in mind for them to be, right? It's impossible, a person can't go, right? So if a person is in a place, if a person is here, in place X, so that means regardless of what brought me here, ostensibly what brought me here, and without considering anything else, Lamaisa, right now, the fact that I am here means that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. The fact that I'm here means that it's not possible for me really to have been any other place other than here right now. Now, what about the past? What about the decisions that brought me here? What about all the things that it looks that I've done, that have brought me to come to this place? So that's exactly what we're talking about now. This is, we have a mitzvah of tshuva. We have a mitzvah of tshuva. What's tshuva? Tshuva is to fix ourselves, to better ourselves, to strengthen ourselves, to become, stronger. If we were nichshel, we fell in a particular avera, tshuva is to strengthen myself so that I should not do that avera again. There's a certain mitzvah I have a hard time fulfilling. Tshuva is to strengthen myself so that I'm going to rededicate myself to making sure I do this mitzvah stronger. Now, insofar as going back and reflecting on what I did, reflecting on my avera and reflecting on what brought me to the avera, that is important for tshuva in order to fix myself going forward. But anything beyond that, anything more, any further dwelling, and certainly, and this is the point he's making here, certainly dwelling on what we see as the consequences of our actions and feeling like it's me who brought me to this place. So that's already the Yetzer Hara. That's already the Baldavar. That's already the Yetzer Hara trying to get us again to steal our present, because the Yetzer Hara knows that the whole Torah only speaks in the present. And a person who's walking around thinking about the past, how did I get here? It's mamish walking right into the Yetzer Hara's hands. It's a perfect setup, because it's useless. It's completely pointless. It's completely useless. There's nothing that could possibly come from it, and it completely consumes a person and takes all of his focus and all of his strength to think only about what they did in the past and fear of what's going to happen again in the future. When meanwhile, again, they're missing the Torah, which is given to them right now. Look what he says here. V'ilu lo haisa tshuva begeder tzivui me'Hashem yisbarach. Were it not that tshuva was a mitzvah from Hashem, harei shelo rak she'etzem isaschus b'tshuva lo haya ro'i kedul kaman, elagam lo haya shayach lashuv. He says it would have been a wrong thing to do. It would be the wrong thing to do to consider your past. Why? Tshuva is dealing with the past that's not in my hands anymore. So because of tshuva, we do deal with it. But without it, by dealing with the past in any way other than what helps me do tshuva, what helps me strengthen myself, anything else than that is literally wasting the present and purposeless and pointless and wrong, a wrong thing to do. I once said what I thought was a remez to this idea in the Torah, that when Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu after Chet HaEgel, so Hashem says, "I'm going to destroy Klal Yisrael. I'm going to destroy Klal Yisrael, and by the Meraglim. I'm going to destroy Klal Yisrael. I'm going to make a nation only out of you." And Moshe Rabbeinu responds, "Mecheni na mesifrecha." If that's what you're going to do, so then erase me from your book. I don't want to be in your book. Either you forgive all of Klal Yisrael, or I don't want to have anything to do with this. So it's a very powerful statement that Moshe Rabbeinu makes to Hashem, and we know that in Parshas Pekudei, that I think Parshas Pekudei, that Moshe Rabbeinu, I don't remember, that Moshe Rabbeinu's name is not mentioned in the parsha because it was like a kiyum of this. It was a kiyum of this idea. But I once had that thought as follows: what's this idea? What's this idea that Moshe Rabbeinu says to Mecheni na mesifrecha? So I wanted to suggest the following idea. What's a sefer? What's a book? What's a book? A book relates things that happened, right? A book, what's the Sefer Torah? The whole Sefer Torah is, stories and events and commandments. It's the history. It's the history of Klal Yisrael. It's the Sefer of Klal Yisrael. It's the book of Klal Yisrael. So what I wanted to say is like this, like a remez that Moshe Rabbeinu was saying like this. Hashem, you believe in tshuva. You created the whole idea of tshuva. And if you're not going to allow for tshuva, so then mecheni na mesifrecha, so then erase me from your books, and there's no point to the whole book. There's no point to the past. The only point to the past, the only point to a sefer, the only point of having a history and seeing what took place and understanding what happened is for tshuva, is to learn from it and to grow from it and to strengthen from it. But Hashem, if you're going to say no more tshuva, no, there's no such thing as tshuva. So mecheni na mesifrecha, so then what's the point of the book? There's no point of the past if it's not for the future. I don't think that's pashat pshat, but I just thought it was a remez to this idea. Okay, I just want to finish with one last idea. Again, this is also from Nachman from the Sefer Meshivas Nefesh. Some of you may recognize this. We learned chavusas and this over the years with different people. And he speaks about this idea also over here, and he says that we don't know, we have no idea what Hashem's plans are. We have no idea how Hashem brings about people to be where they are and to end up what they are. But one thing that we know for sure is that if a person is where they are, that's min hashamayim. If a person is holding in a certain place, if a person is holding that these are his nisyonos and this is her challenges and this is what she's struggling with right now, it's min hashamayim that's where they are. Even if it looks like I'm the one who got myself here. I don't know if I mentioned this to you before. I don't know. Okay, I'm just adding on now a little extra thing, but I don't know if I mentioned this before in this year. But the Ramchal says this in the Sefer Das Tvunos when he speaks about the idea of kochi v'osam yadi asali esachai lazeh. The idea that it's a heretical thought that a person feels I'm the one, my accomplishments, kochi v'osam yadi, my strength and my power is what allowed me to accomplish what I accomplished. So it's just very interesting when the Ramchal writes about this. So he writes like this. This is many people who have this. That they think that the ways of this world work based on nature and teva and these types of things. V'hishtadlusam v'charitzusam hu hamoil. Their hishtadlus, their efforts, v'charitzus, their tenacity. Hu hamoil, that's what helps. That's what allows them to prosper and accomplish. Like the pasuk says, that my strength and my hand made this whole this great event take place. Okay, but I skipped a few words because he puts in something else here. Look what he throws in here, which to me says that it's included in the same heresy, He doesn't say only what I said. He writes like this: Hishtadlusam v'charitzusam hu amohil v'atzlusam hu hamazik, and it's their laziness that is what damages them. That's what causing their damage. What an amazing thing! It seems that the Ramchal is saying that, which I think is what I'm saying to you now, is the same idea, is that even to believe that it's my atzlus that really caused the situation, that really brought me, it's the same as ishtadlus and bitachon, which again we can't go into the whole topic right now. But just to sum up, the idea is that chas v'shalom, to dwell on the past in such a way that it steals from the present even a tiny bit. So that's already wrong. Thinking about the past, tshuva, reflection on the past, is only permissible. It's only a mitzvah. It's only productive insofar as it helps me build myself and helps me grow and helps me move forward. But anything further than that, any feelings of guilt that a person brings up upon themselves, it's the Yetzer Hara. It's mamish the Yetzer Hara, and he gets us very good with this, because he knows very well how a person can completely distract themselves by and feel self-righteous in doing so, and really they're missing the whole present. They're missing the whole Rosh Hashanah, the whole idea of crowning Hashem and closeness to Hashem, and all these other aspects are tangential, which hopefully we'll see if we get to the tefillos in the Ramchal, to go through some of the tefillos of Rosh Hashanah together. Okay, I hope you're all well. I hope to try to upload another shir before Rosh Hashanah. Bye bye.